The boundless desert skies of Nevada were a second home to the controllers at Nellis Air Force Base. Every air patrol, every exercise was a perfectly functioning part of this sky. Speed, power, and flawless protocol all were indispensable elements of these complex operations. As the sun heated the desert sands with its scorching warmth, F-16s soared through the blue sky like silver birds. Pilots, in their cockpits, meticulously followed every announcement, every directive. But today, a strange anomaly appeared on their radars, disrupting this balance, challenging this flawless operation. The sky was their playground, until they saw that mysterious aircraft that broke this balance. It was not on record. It was not communicating. This was an unexpected event for a routine patrol, like the harbinger of a silent storm. Major Ethan Riley and Captain Lena Viper Chen, in the cockpits of two F-16 Raptor fighter jets, were on a routine patrol flight at 40,000 feet. The Nevada desert stretched beneath them like a wrinkled reddish map. The feeling of boundlessness combined with the tension that anything could happen at any moment. Announcements from the radio echoed in their headsets. Everything was as it should be, a routine flight on an ordinary day. Until they encountered that unidentified, unregistered aircraft that appeared on their radars. The aircraft was flying silently, like a shadow, just west of the forbidden airspace. It was a distinct point on the radar, but it was not communicating in any way. No identification signal, no voice. No friend-foe code, just a clear, persistent, unidentified presence on the radar. Major Riley's eyebrows furrowed, and the tension in the cockpit increased. "Lena, what is this? Why is it not on record, and why isn't it responding? This is a serious violation." Captain Chen's voice trembled with suspicion and a hint of concern. "I don't know, Major. I've never seen anything like it. It's like a ghost. No aircraft has approached the forbidden zone so brazenly before." The silence in the cockpit was heavier than the static from the radio. In the air traffic control tower at Nellis Air Force Base, Wing Commander Colonel Marcus Thorne looked at the massive screens. Every line on his face reflected years of military experience, tough decisions, and unwavering authority. As he sipped his morning coffee, he saw the unidentified signal on the radar, and his hand instinctively went to the cold radio. His voice, accustomed to giving orders, was deep. "Send a message to the unidentified aircraft. Identify yourself. It's approaching forbidden airspace. I repeat, identify yourself immediately." The technicians in the tower quickly carried out the orders. However, there was no response from the aircraft. It simply continued at the same speed and with the same defiance on the radar. Colonel Thorne's eyes narrowed, and the tension made the veins on his forehead prominent. "This aircraft, this is a blatant violation. Intercept immediately. Identify the violator, force it to land if necessary." The tension in the tower was palpable. Everyone wondered who this mysterious aircraft was and why it was acting so brazenly. They thought the name Jenny Martinez was just a military whisper, a legend. Not yet. The F-16s rapidly approached the mysterious aircraft. Major Riley radioed. "Requesting authorization to fire a warning shot at the unidentified aircraft, Colonel. The violation is continuing. No response from control tower." Colonel Thorne hesitated. The maneuvers of this aircraft showed much more than just an ordinary violator or a civilian smuggler. Its flight was flawless. It was practically dancing in the sky. Every turn, every altitude change bore the signature of a pilot shaped by years of experience. The pilot's instincts whispered that this was not a simple threat. Just as the order to engage was about to be given, that single sentence from Colonel Thorne broke all rules, all protocols. This was more than a violation. It was a salute. For a moment, the entire airspace fell silent. Jenny Martinez, the lost legend. Why did she return, and why couldn't she be stopped? When that calm, clear female voice echoed in Major Riley's headset from the radio, the air in the cockpit froze. "Eagle 3, this is Falcon.
Solo flight. My mission is classified, friend. Do not interfere. I repeat, do not interfere. Major Riley gasped. This voice, this was impossible. The tone he heard in his headset was like a melody etched into his mind. She had been missing for 8 months. She was not on official record. But this voice was the same one he had heard years ago in the most dangerous, most classified operations of the military Air Force, in a legendary program called Project Nightshade. This voice belonged to Jenny Martinez. Captain Jenny Martinez, in her late 30s, of Latin descent, calm, observant, physically fit, and with sharp eyes, was a former classified military test pilot. Legends about her circulated in whispers. Her skills, her courage, and her ability to disappear without a trace, Major Riley instinctively took his hand off the trigger, as if an invisible force had stopped him. Captain Lena Chen, in shock, asked, "What happened, Major? Fire command? Why did we stop?" Riley looked at the radio, his voice trembling. "Lena, this is Jenny Martinez. This is Ghost Falcon." In the air traffic control tower at Nellis Air Force Base, Wing Commander Colonel Marcus Thorne's eyes widened. He recognized that voice too. It was a memory carrying the dust of years. Ghost Falcon, that call sign. Really? Jenny Martinez is alive. Colonel Thorne radioed, his voice a mix of surprise and the authority of military protocol. "Falcon, this is Tower. Identify yourself. Authenticate. Why are you in forbidden airspace?" Jenny Martinez's voice came from the radio like the whisper of a shadow. "I cannot authenticate, Tower. I am merely completing my mission. Keep my airspace clear." Colonel Thorne's face showed a complex expression. Years ago, he had conducted a classified investigation into Jenny's disappearance. Programs like Project Nightshade or Shadow Flight Initiative trained ghost pilots like her. They were operational assets of the state's deepest secrets, not existing in records. Jenny's disappearance had been officially recorded as an accident, but Colonel Thorne had always felt there was something more, something much larger and deeper beyond that. Jenny's skills were legendary. Stopping her would violate both military protocol and aviation ethics.
The F-16s began to circle Jenny Martinez's aircraft respectfully, almost like a silent salute. Captain Lena Chen's initial skepticism and rigid adherence to rules had given way to immense admiration and indescribable awe. Jenny's aircraft showed no signs of hostile intent. It was simply crossing forbidden airspace with incredible skill, breathtaking precision, and unwavering composure. Her maneuvers were flawless. She was practically performing a ballet in the sky, giving an unspoken lesson to the other pilots. Major Riley radioed, his voice trembling with respect. "Falcon, this is Eagle 3. Why are you here? Why are you entering this forbidden zone? What kind of mission are you on?" Jenny's voice came from the radio like a whisper, yet it echoed throughout the cockpit. "Some missions are completed in silence, Eagle 3, and some vows are never broken, even if they're erased from records." Major Riley looked at the radio. These words carried a deep meaning for his military past. Jenny was passing through forbidden airspace without any hostile intent and without authorization. But Major Riley and Captain Chen did not interfere, both due to the immense respect they felt and a subtle ethical consideration of military protocol. This was more than a violation. It was an unspoken tribute to Jenny Martinez's silent power in the sky. At Nellis Air Force Base, Wing Commander Colonel Marcus Thorne sighed deeply, listening to the silence on the radio. The fine veins on his forehead became prominent. He knew Jenny Martinez had returned. It was a miracle. But he still couldn't understand why she had returned or how she was still so incredibly skilled. Jenny's abilities were legendary. Programs like Project Nightshade or Phantom Wing Initiative had transformed her not just into a pilot, but into a war machine. However, Jenny had been missing for 8 months and was not on official record. This made her even more mysterious, even more untouchable. Major Riley and Captain Chen, upon returning to base, reported their extraordinary encounter. However, in their reports, they did not directly use Jenny Martinez's name. They only mentioned an unidentified aircraft displaying excellent flight skills, the incident being off protocol, and the decision not to interfere should be highly commended.
because Jenny's legacy was too vast to fit into official records, rulebooks, and bureaucracy. It was a legend etched into the sky.
Air Force intelligence agent Daniel Vance was tracking Jenny Martinez. Jenny's disappearance 8 months ago had become a personal obsession for him. Every clue led him to a greater mystery, challenging his logic. Daniel reached General Sarah Hayes, the director of the classified program where Jenny had been trained. General Hayes was at the forefront of programs that trained such ghost pilots, operational assets whose very existence was unknown. When Daniel told General Hayes that Jenny had returned and violated forbidden airspace, General Hayes's face showed not surprise, but a proud, wise expression. Jenny Martinez. She was one of Project Nightshade's brightest students ever. Her abilities, Agent Vance, are far beyond records, even imagination. She is a legacy. Daniel Vance continued to investigate why Jenny Martinez was not on record and why she had disappeared for 8 months. Every new document he researched deepened Jenny's story, drawing him into even greater admiration. It turned out that in her last mission, Jenny had to sacrifice her identity, her civilian life, and even her existence to protect a major military secret concerning national security. She had chosen to live as a silent ghost rather than die as a hero. This encounter transformed into a secret, legendary story, passed down from generation to generation among both F-16 pilots and military personnel at Nellis Air Force Base. Jenny Martinez's influence, though not in official records, was still felt within the Air Force. Young pilots, during training, continued to secretly learn some of Jenny's extraordinary maneuvers and techniques through unofficial channels. They knew that Ghost Falcon was not just a legend, but a real, living teacher. They whispered her name, practiced her techniques in night training sessions. After crossing the forbidden airspace, Jenny Martinez vanished without a trace. No one saw her, no one could stop her. Her legacy remained not just an anecdote, but a living, breathing legend in the world of aviation. The sky was now her silent playground. There, beyond rules and records, she lived her own freedom. Jenny Martinez had once again proven that heroes do not always reveal themselves. Sometimes the most skilled individuals emerge from among the quietest. And she had shown that some legends are too grand, too enduring, and too inspiring to fit into official records. This story ends by emphasizing that heroes do not always reveal themselves. Sometimes the most skilled individuals emerge from among the quietest. They do not seek applause, nor do they crave recognition. They simply do what is right, and then melt into the shadows. To help more people discover powerful human stories like this, please remember to subscribe to our channel and like this video. In the comments section, we invite you to share your own stories of silent heroes you have witnessed in your life. Individuals like Jenny Martinez, whose names may be unknown, but whose presence you felt. Perhaps our next story will be inspired by yours, or perhaps it will be your story itself. Because some stories speak far louder than words and leave the deepest imprints.